Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by my wonderful interim producer, Lily.
Hello.
And our special guest today. She's a plus-size model and filmmaker based in Los Angeles. Goes simply by Liat. No last name.
No last name, baby.
You said you're going for Beyonce vibes.
Yeah, you know, Beyonce, Rihanna, they don't have last names.
I feel like a boomer because I go to Madonna first.
Madonna.
So I guess I need to
That's
update
Neo.
the list.
There's a lot of them.
Neo. Dang, that's a name I have not thought about in a minute.
Yeah, I guess Jesus, sort of the original. I mean, he is
I don't
Jesus
know. Christ
Christ.
is like super important. That's how you got Christmas.
Can we name someone before Madonna who pulled this shit?
There had to have been.
There had
Prince?
to have been.
Did he come before?
Ooh,
I think she's older. No, she looks older. He's dead.
Well,
though.
yeah, she's easily like in her 70s.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
I don't know a lot about history, but I do know that Liat has recently worked with Apple, Instagram, Google, and more. Take us through, is that as a filmmaker, as a model?
As a model, I make no money as a filmmaker.
Okay.
Quite-
You sound like you live in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I went to Cal Arts for film. That's how I know Lily.
Yeah.
I'm a screenwriter, but I work as a model, and that's how I've worked with all those brands.
And your dog, Dubby or Doobie? Doobie is commercially signed as well.
He is
Your dog's
not,
a model, is that right?
I'm his momager. He's not
cute.
signed. He is a star. He was in a dog treat commercial.
Ooh, that's a big get for a dog.
Yes, he did so well. It's on Amazon. Check it out.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cute. It's like 2 seconds. And that was
He
it.
looks like the page error dog on Amazon. Do you see those when the page won't load?
Yes.
There's always a little dog.
He's just-
Oh,
Doobie
yeah,
looks
I
just
know
like
that
him.
dog.
Doobie looks
That is
just
a
like
deep cut
him.
reference. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I know
is
what you're talking about.
Most people go with Airbud.
I didn't know I shared the experience of the error page with the dog with anyone. Thank you for that,
I spend a
Lily.
little too much time on there looking for things.
Now you have a pin of a dog with a pink hat on your kind of lapel there. Is that
yeah.
Doobie?
This is
more or
not
less?
Doobie, but this is made by a dear friend of mine,
Wow.
Kitschy Bits. Check them out.
Kitschy Bits.
Shouts
is
out to
name
the
of
small
it.
business.
Shouts
Kitschy
out.
Bits.
And you know, I always struggle with that name. I used to I'd be like Bitchy Kits,
I like Bitchy
Kitsy
Kits.
Bitsies. Like, it's really hard to get that name right, but
Kitschy Bitsies. I like that.
Kitschy Witsies.
I love it. Now, I'm very excited about this because, this is something I've been hearing about for, years and years and years. I've actually never met a Ryan. You're on the dating app Raya.
Yes. Who's Ryan?
Ryan, someone who uses Raya. See, I'm not on
Ryan.
Raya, so I say stupid
Yes.
shit like a Ryan.
I am.
Yeah, I mean, what is the deal? This
it
is so
not
interesting.
as great as it seems. I've gone on one date from Raya. He was an anti-vaxxer. Didn't tell me until after he lied to get into the bar. Very uncomfortable.
Wow.
Very awkward. He was like totally a conspiracy theorist.
Were you on a date with Alex Jones? I'm just kidding. You've never dated him.
No, I have standards. I did not know he was an anti-vaxxer though. He was like, yeah, I'm friends with like Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban like told me like not to get vaccinated and like
What?
Yes.
What did he do?
This is wild.
What did he do?
Like, what did he do for a living? Or can you not really reveal
He's a
without?
musician. He's like he like works with a lot of big artists, and I feel like all the celebrities are like crazy, you know?
They're pretty
all
staunchly,
anti-vaxxers.
yeah, most of them are anti-vax. I know
Yeah.
that's why Chris Pratt was remember like last year he just got voice after role after voice after role, and everyone made the memes like, stop casting him, why are you casting him?
Right, I
it's
remember
because he can't be on set because he's not vaccinated, or he may be now, but he wasn't vaccinated at the time, so he
So
couldn't
funny.
be on set, so he was just recording voiceovers from home. He did Mario in his PJs.
Wow. That's too
With
convenient.
a
love
Bible
that.
next to him,
What an
like
idiot. Chris Pratt's the one who was married to Anna Faris, right?
yes.
Okay. There's so many Chris's.
Yes.
Raya not doing anything for you.
Oh, right. Raya, it costs money. That's the first thing.
Like a lot of money. Like how
It's
much?
like $25 a month.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
It's a huge waste of money. I'm wasting my money.
You pay for it.
I pay for
But
it.
you've only gone on one date?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
this
get a
is
lot
a
of
grift.
matches. I should really delete it, honestly. But I once you get on Raya, you don't leave Raya.
Because that's their thing, that you
Yeah.
have to, like, if you ever leave, you have to get, like, invited back or something,
oh my
right?
goodness. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
insane.
it's like you work so hard, you wait so long.
But you are on Hinge as well. I know
am
this
on
for a
Hinge.
fact because I'm pretty sure I might have hit on you on Hinge in the last year. I don't know when it was.
I'm so sorry.
I was worried. I was like, what if she just shows up and she's like, you're the fucking guy who made the fucking statement.
You know,
The statement.
You know?
I don't know. Hopefully it wasn't too crazy of a statement, because I do have a folder on my phone of screenshots of, it's actually called Hinge bulges. It's bulge pictures and people's profiles and like weird things people have
Showing
said to
a
me.
bulge of their
Yes.
crotch.
Yeah.
What?
Like really like subtle like bulge pictures. I screenshot them all because like
Yeah.
They're
I used to
on their
notice.
profile, or
Yeah.
they
On
like
their
dick
profile.
line pictures. I
Yes,
get
yes,
that. Yeah.
but
But-
not like close-ups, like full body pics.
Yes, but it's positioned in a way that we're supposed to know, and they're dressing themselves
Yes.
in a way that I've encountered one of those like 6 years ago on Tinder, and my opening line was, "What's up, dick print?" And he's like, "Oh, you noticed that, huh?" And I said, "That's the reason you took the picture." And he's like, "You caught me."
Wow. This has never
So
even occurred to
creative.
me. You know, I got very average.
You've got ideas
equipment.
brewing.
No, I would never I would never lead with that, you know.
That's fair.
Gotta lead with the personality, reel them in.
Yeah, I don't really have that either. I'm not doing well on Hinge.
Me neither, though. I get.
Hey, you're doing well enough to ghost me.
We never matched. First of all,
I know. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
I scroll so fast. I'm like, no. So it's very possible.
I
I
spent
didn't even
3
see
hours crafting the perfect witty thing to you.
Oh
so
my God.
that's good. No, that's good to know.
It. Shit.
Well, no, I wish you luck on Raya. I mean, okay, at least, so it's not yielding results, but when you go through it and you see these other guys on there.
It's fun to see celebs for sure.
Oh, so that's fun.
That's fun.
Who are you seeing on there?
I don't think I can say because I
Oh,
don't want to
you
get
can't
no, but nobody
say.
knows me. It's
Okay.
fine.
Does Raya make you like sign an
Well,
NDA?
they say you're not supposed to like talk about it. You can't take screenshots.
Is this Fight Club?
I
like
learned
what
the hard
is
way.
this?
It
This
is
is
Fight Club and it
ridiculous.
costs money. I will say the most uncomfortable thing that's happened to me on Raya is my old neighbor, one of my good friends. She had this new roommate, and the first time I met the roommate, I met her with her boyfriend. Like 2 days later, I'm on Raya. I see the boyfriend, and I'm like, listen, this is not like having Tinder on your phone and you like deleted it but you didn't deactivate. Like this man is paying $25 a month to be here.
Yeah.
And so as the good woman I am, I text my friend and I was like, hey, just so you know, like so-and-so's boyfriend is on Raya. And she was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And like, he pays for it. Like, just thought you should like know.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
not a
what
free
their
option.
deal
Yeah.
is. Like, and so she tells her friend and her friend's like, oh yeah, like we talked about it. He deleted it, blah, blah, blah. Like it was a miscommunication. He didn't realize he still had it, whatever. A month later, he's still there. And I tell my friend and she's like, yeah, I don't know, but they're in Spain together meeting her family.
But wouldn't
my
his
gosh.
defense be what you just said? Like if you got a boyfriend, you'd be like, well, I know and I like you, but I got to stand
No.
Raya. Because
Because they've been together for like over a year.
so you think after a year you would get rid of your Raya?
I think after like 3 months I would.
Okay.
Of like a committed relationship, which like doesn't
Yeah.
happen for me. So this is very hypothetical.
Yeah.
But
Because I agree with that. I would definitely say that once the relationship is like sealed up, like if you're in committed, like one-on-one, and you're not dating other people, like why would you need a dating app?
Well, because you don't want to go through you gotta get invited again. It sounds like
Yeah,
a whole
but
to do.
I don't have $25 a month to spare on an app that I'm not using.
Yeah.
So you know if they're paying, they're gonna check it out.
I guess. I don't know. I guess I want to be on Raya really bad. I don't know if I want to risk
Hey,
it. I would
I'll
make
give
you
you a
get off.
recommendation.
Will you?
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm worth it. You know.
There's
How
a
many
lot of,
Instagram
like-
followers do you have?
3,000.
that's
They-
more than me.
Okay.
What?
Then there we go.
I
I
thought
don't
you were an
have a lot of-
influencer.
No,
She's a
You're
model.
a model.
I'm a
You're
real
not an
model.
influencer.
I'm not an influencer. Fun fact: Instagram
Wow.
followers don't matter
Yeah.
because I've worked a lot of jobs and I have no Instagram followers.
Interesting.
So for you aspiring models out there,
Yeah.
stop focusing on Instagram followers.
Hell yeah.
So I guess I know so little about modeling. I mean, most of what I learned, I think people will relate with, which is I picked up from the movie Zoolander.
I was
That's
just
really
thinking
funny.
about that movie.
It's so
haven't
good.
seen that in so
It
long.
holds
It's
up.
really good.
Let's watch it.
What is? I mean, do you enjoy it? I think is my first question.
Zoolander?
No, modeling. This is just a Zoolander interview. What's your favorite part of Zoolander?
Ben Stiller, if you're listening,
You're
adopt
rude.
me.
So
Do you like him? He's so rude.
I don't know. I want him to be my dad.
He's a nepo baby. Have his dad be your dad.
Is he?
Yeah.
He low-key looks like my dad. Maybe that's where the miscommunication is coming from. Anyways, yes, I love modeling. It's very fulfilling to be a plus-size model. I love like when people, feel included, and it's pretty lit because like, normal models when they're on set, they're like, they try not to eat too much, and I'm like, listen, I'm already supposed to be the fat one here, so like bring it, keep it coming.
Craft services, baby. Let's
get
go.
as bloated as possible. Yeah.
really?
If I'm here, I know that I'm there as the token fat one, which is like kind of sad because I'm not that fat. So it's like, I shouldn't be the token fat person. But like every set I'm on, it's so fucking funny because there's just one of each.
Like a mid-size, like
Yeah,
plus size.
talk us through that. Yeah,
No
talk us through.
mid-size.
There's one of each.
Like
How many?
one of each race and one fat person.
That's so interesting.
One black person, one Latino person, one Asian person, one fat white person. That's me. And that's it. And they just go for one of each. It's like, and we
Just
all
no
sit there.
creativity. It's the same.
No.
It's the same form each time.
Like literally the Apple shoot I did, we like sat in a circle in holding, like waiting for them to use us. We just like looked around each other and it was just like, is this the Breakfast Club? Like we are.
Everyone's here.
Everyone's here, really.
One of each type.
So
Actually.
it does sound though like you get fulfillment though, knowing that
Yes.
you're representing.
Totally. I really love like getting Instagram messages from like people I know or like random people who are like, like seeing you in this ad like made me like feel so beautiful, and like
I love when you come up on my Instagram ads. Like she will come up on my actual ads. It's not like I'll be seeing stories.
Sponsored posts.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
And I will see Liat, and every time I do, I screenshot and send it to her.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do get a lot of screenshots. Yeah. So it's very fulfilling.
Very cool. And so you like the representation aspect, but in terms of the actual work, I mean, is it kind of catwalky? That's kind of where my head goes. You're kind of walking, you're posing. No.
I don't do runway.
Okay.
Because I'm quite short.
You gotta be tall to be on the runway.
You have to be like 5'9" and up for runway.
Really?
That's crazy.
Because they want everyone to look long.
And for the clothes to because the clothes are the focal point.
Yes, exactly.
Too, right? Like on runway, it's not really about the model themselves, but you sell the clothes in a much different way in print.
Yes, because in print also like they can clip the clothes in the back, they can make it look perfect on you, but for runway like you have to like fit perfectly into the clothes as is, because like they can't clip it anywhere. It's like full view. Like I have short arms, and whenever I shoot for like a jacket or something, they like have to pin the shit out of my arms.
Really?
Wow.
I'm so sorry, my arms are so short.
Does that mess with you with posing at all if they're like clipping and...
No, usually when they clip stuff, it'll be for e-com. So it's like for stuff for like websites, like with Girlfriend Collective. Like
I see.
So it's like one from the front, one from the back, one from the side. So like in between each like
shot, they just readjust it from whatever angle. Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Like some lady comes up to me and she like pins it, and she like rubs lotion on my legs and like jumps out of the shot, and then like
jumps out of the shot. I'm just picturing her with like a utility
No,
belt
that's
of,
exactly
like,
what it
pins
is.
and
Yes.
stuff. That's wild.
it's so cute.
So usually though, I mean, it's some degree of posing for a camera. I mean, is that fair?
Posing for the camera. It's very easy work. Pays really well for doing literally nothing. I love
how honest you're being. You get fed.
And I get fed. Usually 2 meals. I take a bunch of snacks home with me.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love snacks. I love free food.
And you often you book a lot of work yourself.
I love my agents. I have 2. I have a LA agent and a New York agent, and I have a talent agent. But I do book a lot of the stuff I've done by myself, or like people like reaching out to me. Like Apple was just like a random email, and I was like, okay. And then like,
okay,
like
so casual.
How'd you get my
living.
number? Like, hopefully this is real, and I'm not gonna get murdered like walking into this.
How'd you get my
location.
number, Apple? How'd you get that?
How do you think? They're in my freaking
LinkedIn.
phone.
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
I meant
at
they're
all.
like reading. They're gonna sue me after this because I'm not supposed to say anything. But I'm like, listen, you did not pay me enough to keep my mouth shut forever. So
yeah, like why?
Thanks
And
a
it's
lot.
like,
Well,
you're
we
not
don't know
supposed
which
to-
apple. It could be the computer.
Yeah,
it could
could be
be
the fruit.
Honeycrisp. I'm a big Honeycrisp boy over here.
Yes.
So
This
you
This is
like
a big
Honeycrisp?
apple podcast.
yum, I'm hungry now
Heck yeah.
for an apple.
For an
Heck yeah.
apple, a Honeycrisp apple, not a Red Delicious.
No,
those
that's
are
just-
mealy.
everybody
Those-
hates a Red
actually,
Delicious. I found.
I
Are you
don't.
gonna go
I
against
like
this?
a crispy Red Delicious.
Really?
Like
You
a
find them
crispy one?
I don't think I've ever had like a crispy Red
A lot
Delicious.
of people complain about the skin too. It's really thick.
I like when I like have to like I choke on the skin.
You like that?
I choke on
You're
like
like-
that
everything.
waxy feeling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And you're like, ugh.
I don't know.
So,
If you have a good Red Delicious, it could be really
You
great.
sound like a masochist for apples a little bit.
I'm not gonna deny it.
and you know what? To each their own on the apple frontier.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I've just never had a crispy Red Delicious. I've always found them to be soft.
It might be like a Midwest thing. Maybe they're really
Yeah.
good in the Midwest because that's
Maybe.
where I would eat them.
Because we grow a bunch of other different apples on the East Coast.
Yes.
So I feel like maybe that's more our frontier and not so
Yeah.
the meals.
So I think plus size models, big topic these days. I mean, fat phobia is like a big keyword I run into a lot.
Yes.
But do you think more doors are opening for plus size models? What's the forecast here?
You know, it's very confusing, honestly, because one day it'll be like, yeah, like there's Yitty and there's Savage and like these are like really like inclusive brands. And then like the next day it'll be like Heroin Chic is back in, which is like so problematic for so many reasons.
Yes.
But it's kind of scary how like body shapes are like trends and like you don't know when it's going to stay in and when it's
Yeah.
not going to be in. But like I think now that it's like started with having plus size models, I don't think they're going to get rid of it because like, you know, people want to see what their clothes are going to look like.
Like on them.
Yeah.
On all types of different bodies.
Yes.
And it's like you said, like we've seen the little bit of impact representation can do. And for them to just be like, never mind, we were just trying to use it for marketing. That would be, people should stop buying clothes.
Yeah.
If they do that.
People would totally riot against that.
So I remember when we were shopping for, I forget if it was like a Halloween, I forget what event I was shopping for. And we went to all those different places and we were
Yes.
trying on clothes and I sort of fell into like an old pattern, like an old habit. And I was saying how like I didn't like how I was looking in the clothing, like my body looked weird. And you came in with a brilliant, amazing correction, and you were like, "No, it's not your body at all. It's the clothes." And I'm like, "Oh," and you were like, "If it fit like you in a slightly different way, like a size up, a size down, you'd think it would look better, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then she just said to me, "It's not your body. It's the clothes." And that really opened a lot of avenues for me.
Aw.
Like, when did you just like start cultivating this like sense of, it's a brilliant mindset shift. It's just, so when did you start like cultivating this sense of self-love into like a practice?
That is a great question. I'm so glad that they like affected you like that. That's beautiful.
It did.
I grew up with a mom who hates her body, which most of us did, unfortunately. Grow up with moms like that, which
Yeah.
is really sad for them. I was always like a thick kid. That sounds wrong. Like a curvy baby. But
That sounds worse.
I know. That was the point.
I'm so happy you said that. I can't believe it wasn't me, but
You can count on me for saying weird shit first.
curvy baby.
Anyways, I was full child and but I was like had like an eating disorder for a long time of just like binge eating and then like restricting and then like starving myself and then binging, and it was just like not cute. And then but in a phase in college I did lose a lot of weight by not eating. I would eat one meal a day at night, and people like, you know, praised me then, especially my mom and my family. I love my mom. She's great, but she's got to work on that. And then quarantine happened and I gained quite a bit of weight. I probably like 50 pounds. And in a pretty short amount of time, which I can see is like a little concerning, but like it like really fucked with my relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't even live in the same state, but like she was like so terrified of like me being fat. And like I really had to figure out like for myself like how to like be okay with how I looked. And it's weird because that's when I started getting attention. I mean, I always was getting attention from guys because I always had like, I was always like curvy, but like I was like much fuller now. And
you've always been beautiful. Like,
yes.
I've known you for a couple of years, and at a variety of any sort of size. You've always been gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, I do also think like everyone has like a size that they like, you know, their body naturally is. Like when you just like eat what like feels comfortable and you're not like overstuffing or under eating, and like you exercise like however feels right to you, and like the stagnant weight you're at, like that's the weight your body's supposed to be. But yeah, I just like was like realizing like, oh, I'm still hot and like men still want me, and like I still feel beautiful, and like when I fit into the clothes I'm wearing, because for a long time I was like, ugh, I don't fit into anything, like I hate my body. And then once I threw out the clothes that didn't fit and bought the clothes that fit and accepted that I was a size 1X, I felt great. And I was like, look at all these beautiful clothes I can wear, and look how great I look in them. Because it's really scary to size up sometimes, you know? It's like you don't want to admit that you're that size. But
there's like stigma around
yes.
it, even though it's just you and the fitting room attendant. There's something. Do you need a larger size? You
Yes.
don't want to answer yes to that question. Like you don't. So that's just so like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the sizes themselves are like so shitty. Like
Yeah, can you go
large.
through that? Is that okay? Because I'm
Yeah.
curious. Because like I know women's sizes are always very
Yes.
like 0. Doesn't it start at 0?
It starts
Double
at
zero.
double zero.
Double
which is
zero.
so funny to me. You are double
How can you be
zero
smaller
percentage
than
of space.
zero?
Yeah, 0 is also fucked up. It should start at 1.
But like opposite numbers are for juniors when even numbers are. So when you're a teen,
What
you wear size
the
1,
fuck,
3,
Voodoo?
5. When you're like a more adult, you wear like a 2, a 4, a 6, and then when you make more money, you wear a 26, a 28. That goes by waist size all of a sudden.
This is the most confusing
This I did not know.
system I've ever heard of.
I can only work with the letter sizes.
I've just spent a lot of time on like sizing charts. I'm like,
Okay,
what is
yes,
this?
that's
Wild.
You got to know if it's going to
Who
fit.
made-
Yeah.
So what's 1X? What does that mean?
So 1X comes after XXL. So it goes small, medium,
I don't even know how we got to
large,
XXL. I thought we were in numbers.
So it's
Oh, sorry.
small, medium, large, and
extra
then
large, extra large. Or sometimes it goes from extra large to 1X. It depends.
Yeah.
And then like 2X, 3X, so on.
Oh, so this is out of the number system.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
doubt.
there are just so many different ways to
I'm so
categorize it.
lost.
It's very
Yeah,
confusing.
Okay, so you embrace your. I'm never gonna understand this. I mean,
That's
I've been
fine.
working on bra sizes for 20 years now, and I don't know what's going
Bra
on.
sizes are confusing too. Just when
They're
you think
very
it ends, there's more
confusing.
letters.
It's wild.
And then you
Yeah.
find out you've been measured the wrong way your entire life and you're a completely
Ugh.
different size.
Yes, because Victoria's Secret will lie to you about your size. They'll tell you you're bigger than you are. So you
That's the secret.
feel better about
so
your
they.
yeah.
So okay, but so you embraced.
yeah.
So you have just embraced your look, your size, and it was the clothes. That's interesting. So the clothes
Yes.
are bothersome for you. So you got clothes that were the right size that fit, and now you're like, this is who I am. And it sounds
Yeah.
like it kind of sounds like intuitive eating, to throw a buzzword
Yes.
out here. You just kind of eat.
I did some
what you
great
want when you're hungry.
therapy.
Yeah.
Great therapist. She taught me about intuitive eating. Yeah. And then I was watching a lot of America's Next Top Model. Love that show. And like these girls are like throwing fits about everything. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like I would not care if someone like dyed my hair this color and like shaved my head. Like I don't care. And I was like, I should be a model because these girls are stupid. And then no offense, girls, but you guys were kind of stupid. And then
Hey, you
the
didn't
ones
say
from
what
the
season.
show. Yeah, all of the seasons. Just like they cry about like cutting their hair. I'm like, it's sad that they like identify their beauty so strongly with their hair length or like hair color, you know? So anyways, that's when I was like, I want to be a model. That sounds fun. And I like started applying to agencies, and then it just like blew up from there, and the rest is history. Herstory.
That's great. So you had gained this weight during COVID.
Yeah.
But now you're a plus size model. Is it
Yeah.
because of that weight? So in a way
Yeah.
that you create a job for yourself because you had more of a demo.
Yes, that's super.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say like if I hadn't gained the weight, I would never have been a model because I'm too short to be like a traditional model,
Yeah.
which is like sucks for like not plus size girls because it's like much harder to and it's not like that it's easier to become a model as a plus size person, but it is less restrictive because they don't have weight limits, they don't have height limits. Like, it's just much more inclusive, like all around. So yeah, it is like, you know, I also like have to like love and appreciate my body because I'm like, this is what pays my bills. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and like people obviously think I'm beautiful enough to cast me in like these big companies. So I'm like, you know, who cares what like fat phobic things might be said or done and like commented and whatever. Like, I'm making money off my body and you're not, so fuck off.
Hell yeah.
Seems reasonable
Yeah.
to me. And you're enjoying yourself, so
Yes, I really enjoy it. It's really fun.
Do you have any like ideal like brands you'd like to work for, or something you just like to see from brands in the future in terms of campaigns?
I would love to work for Savage X Fenty.
Yes, we're manifesting that.
Yes, Rihanna, if you're listening, come on.
Yeah, Rihanna's on the Patreon.
I think Rihanna is on our Patreon. Really
she's
big
not.
it.
Okay.
Not
She's
really.
not on the Patreon.
Come on, guys.
I mean, you
Please
got.
like
I think you
that.
need a collab with the Rihanna, Madonna, Beyonce. You need to
Yes.
find a single name
The single name gal.
because that's
Yes.
going to give you the synergy.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. But yeah, it would be cool to see more plus size people on the runway. It would be cool to see more plus size men. Yeah, just like, you know, real inclusion, not just like one of each, but like
Marketing inclusion, essentially. Like
Yes.
like as opposed to like, oh, we're doing this because we feel like we have to. Like
Right.
actual open casting where the folks are open-minded to anyone. They're not coming in like, we're looking for A, B,
Yes.
C, and D. It's like, we're looking for talent. Show us what you got.
exactly. That's
That'd be
you said
amazing.
it perfectly. Yeah, yeah.
I dig it. Well, Lily put together some great situations here. Very excited about this.
Woo.
Our second story of the day, AITA for banishing my teenage daughter's friend from our house because she made fun of my weight.
That's me banishing my mother from my life.
But first, AITA for calling every morning. My son is a 20-month-old toddler. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. I work 6 days a week, and I'm usually gone for 12 hours a day. I always check in on my son remotely via our nursery cam, and he's always awake in the mornings around 8. He has a great sleep routine. Our wind down time starts at the same time every evening. We would clean up toys, read a book, and when I lay him down, he's still awake. He then falls asleep on his own and sleeps all night for at least 12 hours. It's usually after 9 before I have a chance to check the camera. This morning when I checked, it was 9:12, and some mornings are closer to 10. Every time I look, though, he's awake in the dark and standing in his crib, just waiting. When I see this, I immediately turn on the brightest nightlight the camera has and speak to him through the camera app. I always tell him good morning and I love him, and he usually laughs and says, "Da-da." Then I leave the app, call my wife to wake her up. I usually have to call 3 to 4 times, and when she finally answers, it's obvious that she just woke up and only because I called. I tell her that our son is awake, waiting for her, and that she needs to get up to start their day. This morning, while on the phone, I asked her if she was going to get him after using the bathroom, and she said no. She was going to the kitchen to prepare their breakfast, and then she'd get him. I asked her to get him after the bathroom so he could go to the kitchen with her, and she flipped out. She told me it pisses her off that I call every morning to tell her how to be a mom and that she has a routine. I retorted with, well, your routine sucks because he's been awake for an hour and he'd still be asleep if I hadn't called. It just bothers me that he has to wait so long. He needs a diaper change. He's probably thirsty, hungry, and just wants to play. Am I wrong, though? Do I need to stop AITA?
You need to stop.
There is a bit of micromanaging going on. We're gonna get into the circumstances of the micromanaging more. I know
Sure.
that, but I would hate to be like called on an intercom essentially at me doing every little thing. Like my boss has sort of done that to me at work even. Like I was supposed to meet up with another driver and we were going to divvy up the deliveries between us to make it go by faster.
Yeah.
I was originally going to meet up with that driver at a house, and then Tony texted me while I was driving, sent me to a new address, and I was like, oh God, fine. Okay, so I went to that new address. It's a Popeyes, and it's in the middle of like the worst spot of traffic.
Oh, God.
And so on my next stop, the GPS was telling me to make a left. I was still going to be able to make a right and go around. So I waited a minute, would not be able to make this left. I made a right. Boom. Tony calls me. Why are you going that way? because we can see the drivers on like our dispatcher
So
thing, and I was
annoying.
like,
Creepy.
Tony, you had me re-meet him at a worse place to make a left in the middle of rush hour. Don't know what you wanted from me. So like that type of shit drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
Absolutely up the wall.
Especially like what makes the situation more annoying is like this woman carried your fucking child in her uterus for 9 months. Like, hop off, bro. The woman is tired.
Absolutely. I think you guys have nailed this. I don't even know what to really add. Dads do love their cameras. I can vouch for this. My dad loves to watch the dog. I'm like, what are you doing? We're out. I see you twice a year. Can you not watch your dog? He's like, no, look, he's there. I'm like, yes, he is in fact there.
I love that.
I feel like what this is control freakism. And you know, I think the other thing is too, cannot the child yell?
Yeah, right? Usually you wake up when the child screams for you.
And also this baby is 20 months. That's almost 2. I hate when you do like my son is 67 months. Like, sir, come on.
Yeah,
like,
It took me a
please.
second to be like, what
my
is
son
that?
is going to be 2. Like
Thank you. You're right. 20-month-old is not a thing. You're right. This is
Yeah.
a 1.5-year-old.
This is a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like, stop with that. It's the kid. Can he say mama? No, but he can go like if
No, he can't. He says dada.
Yeah, he's
he
a
can
1.5.
probably say
If
mama.
he can't say
Actually,
mama.
you say dad before you say mom because it's easier. It's an
Dada.
easier sound
because
to
the
make.
patriarchy.
Yes,
So
that's
he
why.
can't
Actually,
fit- yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I actually think you're nailing it
Sorry.
and that works on every level. There's such an infantilization happening with this child, and it's like you're micromanaging. The toddler can yell if he needs mommy to come, and what? So the toddler's standing there. What else is the toddler gonna do? Read the morning paper?
truly, like, what are you
Yeah.
expecting him to do? Like, write a sonnet? Like, he doesn't need like constant stimulation like all us adults with anxiety.
Yeah, he
do.
hasn't been using a phone.
He's fine. His brain is smooth. Like, it's good. It's
Yeah.
gonna get ridges on it soon, but he's good for now. Let him just be in the crib.
He's
Yeah.
taking it in. I mean, it
chilling.
almost seems like a voucher to his health too, that he's able to just stand there and be patient. He's, you know, and then the brain is processing, absorbing the room, etc. You know,
That's
like
actually something I never even thought of. He's self-soothing
Yes.
already.
Yes.
Cute. Also, this is very like first child syndrome too. Like
100%.
this is definitely their
Yes.
first
Oh,
child.
of course it is.
It's like, don't breathe near him. Like,
Oh my god, he's gonna choke if you breathe in his face.
yes.
Top comment, Winterborn25 writes, YTA, I can't imagine being a micromanaged mom like that remotely. Is your son crying? No, then he's fine. If he's uncomfortable, he'll call for his mom.
What does YTA mean?
Oh, you're the asshole.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's the same. Like, I know it's not the same, but it's the same as a dog. Like, if the dog's not barking, like, he doesn't need anything. If the baby's not crying, the baby is fine.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm 100% comfortable with the dog thing, but yes, generally with you. I think we're all on the same page. Top dissenting comment. I'm worried about your dog. I'm worried about your dog right now.
My dog is fine.
He barks whenever anything's wrong.
Yeah, he
They
communicates. You know,
communicate.
if he's
Okay,
not
that's
barking,
fair. That's fair.
he doesn't need anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you have a dog. I don't. I don't know why. It sounded weird putting it with a dog.
I know people
No? Am
hate
I
when I
wrong? Am I off
compare my
base?
dog to a baby, but like he is a baby. First of all, he has epilepsy.
Yeah.
Really sad.
And when he's hungry, he'll bark. That makes sense.
Yeah,
He needs
like
to go out, he barks.
He
Yeah, that makes
communicates.
sense.
He is like a child. He's very needy. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine this being that much more work with a real human.
Because you know the reason cats
You
meow
keep going
with
too
humans.
far, and it makes me doubt you.
Good.
No, because you know the reason cats meow with humans is because they don't meow with each other. They
Yeah.
learn to imitate babies crying because they saw that
Interesting.
it made us go to them, and they do. Yeah, because that's how Rupert meows when it's dinner time.
Yeah, that makes
Oh.
sense.
But it's true. I think of Rupert as my child, and I gave
Yeah.
birth to her.
Although I will say I have 2 cats, and cats are not as needy as dogs. Like,
My cat is.
you don't have to walk the cat.
You don't know.
The
Even
cat
I
knows
know
how to
that.
shit on his own.
Yeah.
That's
the dog,
fair. Yeah, Doobie likes to pee and walk.
Doobie, he paints the sidewalk. It's
Wow.
I'm
Just lumbers.
What
So
a
sorry,
charming
everyone
boy.
in LA. It's gross, but
He's a model. He can do
he's
that.
a model. He's so
You
oh my
know.
god, unrelated. But today I was walking the dog. You can cut this out if you want, but I just want to tell you guys. He's a golden retriever. And there's like this guy walking his 2 golden retrievers on the other side of the road, and he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hi." Doobie will not look at them. He literally is facing the other way.
He's a Leo.
Wow.
He's not a Leo.
He's a Pisces, but I love that you said he's a Leo. That's funny.
That's some Leo behavior. Like, I
is.
won't see it.
No, it's more like I'm scared.
He's
What
he's
is this
scared.
mirror?
Oh, I thought it was a diva thing. Like,
Yeah, me too. That's
don't
why I
look
said
just
at
like
me.
he's scared of everything.
Wow.
It's like when Mariah Carey claimed to not know who
Jennifer
J-Lo
Lopez.
was.
I don't know her.
Did you see that?
I didn't know.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, because you and J-Lo, I don't know her. Like, you've never heard of J-Lo. I don't know who that is. Amazing.
Going back
Icon.
to the sitch here, top dissenting comment, Black Groundhog writes, not the asshole. The kid is not going to cry if it's been normalized that he needs to wait in his crib for 1 to 2 hours.
Wait
As
for
a
what?
non-parent, not how kids work, right?
Not how kids work.
Not how
Wait
kids
for
work.
what? What is he waiting for? What does that mean?
I guess this person thinks that the child will never cry, that they'll just always wait. There's nothing bad has happened. The kid just woke up and he's having his morning wake up, you know, and he's standing there in the crib. AITA for calling every morning. I think we're all on the same page here. This is a YTA.
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 Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon. Over 140 bonus episodes. All right, here we go, folks. AITA for banishing my teenage daughter's friend from our house because she made fun of my weight. I, 37F, have 2 kids with my husband, 41M, a 14-year-old daughter, and a 10-year-old son. Our daughter's always been a little awkward to the point that we've had her tested since we suspected her being on the spectrum. Turns out she isn't. She's just a natural introvert. However, this year in school, we were thrilled when our daughter made a new friend her age, since socializing is an area where she kind of struggles. Long story short, she recently invited her new friend over to have dinner at her house and then spend the night. So my daughter's friend came over and my husband made us all a really nice meal. I asked my daughter's friend, "Are you enjoying the food?" She responded, "Yes, and your husband is a great cook. No wonder you've ended up a bigger woman." The room got quiet for several moments. My husband tried to laugh it off and change the subject, but I wasn't having it. The girl had leveled a completely uncalled for insult at me. My daughter's friend seemed to realize that she'd messed up, but she didn't say anything else. We finished an awkward dinner in mostly silence, and my daughter's friend stayed the night. This is a couple months ago. Recently, my daughter asked if she could have her friend back, and I told her sure, if she's going to apologize to me. When her daughter asked what I meant, I reminded her of what she said. My daughter responded that it was over, that she didn't want to bring it up. She then went to her father and asked. He said sure, but she then told him what I'd said. He came to me and said, "Hey, daughter's friend just felt awkward and tried to make a joke. It didn't land. For the sake of our daughter, can't you just let it go?" Yeah, I could. But the thing is that I just want an apology from the girl. I need to see that she understands how rude she was before I can get on board with her and my daughter hanging out. My husband says that I'm being weird for insisting on an apology from a 14-year-old, especially since that girl is such a good friend of our daughter. I think it's weird that I'm still waiting for an apology. I just need to know that any friend of my daughter is willing to own up to her screw-ups. AITA.
That's a tough one, honestly.
It's tough.
The age makes it complicated.
Thank you. That's what I think. I think on the one hand, sure, could this 14-year-old apologize? Of course she could, but like, I think it's a strange hill for mom to die on. I think the 14-year-old, intense not impact, but I think the 14-year-old did not really understand the gravity of what was coming out of her mouth for like the mom. You know what I mean? Like it affected the mom in a really big way. And I don't think she knew the gravity of the situation. I don't know. If I was the mom, I would want to do it as a learning moment, not a like she can't come through this door until she apologizes. Like this is like a hey, like we don't talk about stuff like that in this house discussion.
Right.
For me, not like because if she's saying, if we're playing it as it lays, I think it's weird that I'm still waiting for an apology from the same girl. I just need to know that a friend of my daughter is going to like own up to her own screw ups. I get that, but this girl is operating from a place of she didn't think she did anything wrong.
Also, she's like a child.
She's a child.
Like, she's not going to
She's not a
apologize.
child.
Yeah, she
She's
is
a
a child.
minor.
She's a teenager.
She's a minor.
She's 14.
Your brain's developed when you're 28.
She's 14.
So she has
She's old enough
18
to
more years
That's why I'm
understand.
so
of brain
stupid.
development.
She's old enough to understand she could hurt someone's feelings, right? When you're 14.
I mean, I've had like friendships that ended because I asked for an apology and they wouldn't apologize. So
Well, I've had that with a grown adult.
Exactly.
You know, I think
So
it's
like,
Well, it doesn't make it okay. I mean, look, I will throw some dings at mom before I come for this 14-year-old, but I think my big problems with mom are, I think Lily is definitely, you're dancing around this, which is the characterization of this as an uncalled for insult, I think is off base.
Why is that?
Because
she is a bigger woman?
Yeah. I don't think it was an insult.
Yeah, but like
It's
you don't
not.
go around being like, you're a skinny man, like you have brown hair and that makes you old. Like, okay, these are horrible examples, but like you don't go around commenting on people.
Well, I don't.
Did the girl say anything about anyone else's body? No, she went out of her, like, this girl knows.
Well, no, but it was inappropriate. Obviously, it was inappropriate. Well, I would not do this. I'm not advocating, but I don't think it was an insult, right? Like, she said something inappropriate. It was salient to her that the mother was apparently overweight, and so she referenced that, putting these two things together. It was kind of cute. It was kind of a cute, inept mistake that a 14-year-old would make.
Cute.
Wow, how the tables have turned. A second ago, it was like, she's 14, she doesn't know anything.
No, she's, I mean, okay. I think the 14 thing, doesn't not knowing anything, applies to the not apologizing thing. Mm-hmm. But she's old enough to know that society hates fat people and that calling someone fat is an insult.
She didn't call her fat.
She said she's bigger.
She said she's bigger.
Implying that she eats more than everyone else, which is also fucked up because she was like, you must love his food. That's why you're bigger. Bigger people don't always eat more than everyone else. Our bodies just digest differently.
Do you view this as malicious? I mean,
Yeah,
why?
she's a bitch. Am I allowed to swear on this?
You can swear.
She's a bitch.
Really?
14-year-olds can be
I'm a little
bitches.
confused at this reaction because I guess I don't view this. I think it was the wrong thing to say. I think it was an attempt at humor.
No, it was not.
Okay.
Really, I took it like the daughter or the friend was autistic and she just was.
Oh,
That's how I truly took it.
That's the I need to meet this girl to know because there's a chance that she's like, oh, you must love his food because you're so big. Or she's like, oh yeah, you must love his food. That's why you're bigger. Like, you know, it could be she's just like spitting
like
words
that.
out.
I think the way you just
or
said
she
that.
could be a total bitch and who's like a bully. Like, you don't know. We don't know this girl.
I just don't feel like there's so many meaner ways to put this. I mean, effortlessly you can make this meaner.
Yeah, but it's the perfect taste of meanness.
So you think she was trying to be like passive aggressive about it?
Yes.
Like the thing where like the your boyfriend has a girl best friend and she's always like hugging him and looking at you in your eyes while she's hugging him in a weird way.
Like she knows she's doing something wrong, but she's trying to get away with it by not using
to what
offensive
end?
terms.
To what end?
To what end what?
Why?
Like, what's she gaining?
Why take the mom down a peg?
Why do bullies bully? I don't know.
Well, because
they hate themselves. So
no, bullies bully at school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a social context. They feel insecure about their place in the hierarchy at school. Like,
bullying doesn't just happen at school.
It doesn't exclusively happen at school, but there is a reason behind it. I don't feel like this was a random shot fired at the mother.
No, it's not
I feel like it
random.
was a move of ineptitude. She was trying to make a little joke. And it wasn't an appropriate thing to reference. She didn't say fat. She didn't say anything that I would call an insult. She said something that is actually like factually true, that she was bigger. It's not an appropriate thing to say.
Bigger
right?
than what?
I'm shorter. Bigger than the average woman.
But how would you feel if someone was like, oh, you're shorter than everyone else in the room?
I yell about it all the time.
But you can yell about it. You can talk about your own insecurities, but other people cannot. That's just weird.
I'm on mom's side here, by the way. I was trying to set this up, and then you guys ended up defending the 14-year-old. But I was trying to say that mother's reaction was to me felt overwrought. But it seems like you're not on board for that.
Okay, I do think she's overreacting in the situation that she is a grown woman and this girl's a child. And I do think she should the normal like adult thing to do would to sit that child down with her daughter and make a learning moment out of it, like Lily said, and be like, hey, just so you guys know, like, this is a good time to talk about how we don't talk about other people's bodies.
Because I think the mom is putting adult expectations on a child.
That's exactly it. But her expectations are
valid, and her wants are valid.
And like, it's also valid to not want someone who like makes you feel uncomfortable in your home. Like, I understand that for sure. But
that's fair. You're making me come around a little bit on that point. Up until this point, I'm like, you're an adult. Like,
but it is hard. Like, clearly this girl hit a soft spot and like, I understand her not wanting this girl back in her home. She never said, you're not allowed to see her at school anymore. You can't talk to her. She's just saying, I don't want her in my house.
Until she apologizes.
And but again, though, she should sit them down. She could call the other girl's mom and be like, hey, like, I think you should talk to your kid about this, because if she's calling me bigger, who knows what she's calling the kids at school. Like, clearly this is like, you know, kids mean what they say. They say everything. They don't have a filter. You know,
I mean, that to me is what this reads as, though. But I guess I couldn't bring you guys on board for this wasn't necessarily an insult. I certainly think it's a very light way of putting the insult. You know,
I don't think she was trying to insult.
Oh, so you're with me on that?
I'm with you on that
because that was my qualm with the mom. She's calling it an insult, and it would be if I said this. Oh my god! Of course, if a grown adult said this, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What are you doing?
That's not even a finished dinner thing. That's like, all right, buddy, get the fuck out of my house thing.
Exactly, because it's so unhinged. But for a 14-year-old to do this, I'm like, yeah, this is probably your like first dinner at someone's house. You're like really uncomfortable, and you're like trying to make jokes and like be somebody, and you got nothing because you're 14.
And especially if she's just as socially awkward as the daughter, because that's
Probably
how
is.
this friendship like came about. They both like don't do very well in that kind of setting.
Reasonable.
So
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable assumption.
she could be sweating.
I have issues with that. I have issues with calling it an uncalled for insult. I don't think that's a fair characterization. I think it was an inept and hurtful statement, considering that it came from a 14-year-old. If I said it, it would absolutely be an insult, of course. But I guess where I'm not with you guys is that I don't have any issue with the fact that she wants an apology. I guess where I'm like, maybe we do line up is I'm like, why can't she just orchestrate this a little bit differently? And the one line that I think I'm coming on board with your guys' view is like, I don't know why I'm still waiting. Like, I think it's weird that I'm still waiting for an apology from the same girl. And I'm like, well, she's 14. She might not have fully clocked how this kind of went down.
She doesn't know how
That's what I meant by putting adult expectations on the child.
I'm with you there.
Because
I'm with you there.
I don't disagree with you. She can want an apology, and she was hurt. And like what I said at the top, intent's not impact. So she was hurt, so she deserves an apology.
Yes.
However, her waiting in her tower for the prince to come, when the prince is a 14-year-old boy, is a 14-year-old, is a terrible, stupid, childish thing. She should, at the next gathering, I think she should have a discussion and with the child and and her own daughter, and get the apology, because then the kid will be brought into the same page.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't understand though this attitude of. And I'm with you that would be the best thing to do. And it's what I would do. And I think most mature adults would say, why don't you tell your friend to come over and then you just talk with a friend. And you say, hey, you know, you said this, it hurt me. That's not an appropriate thing to joke about. And as you're right, it could be a learning moment. That said, I don't think it's that wild for the daughter to go to her and say, hey, you made this comment to my mom and, you know, she just wants you to apologize to her. Can you call the house?
I get, but you know, kids. I'm not saying this is a reason for the daughter to be justified, but it's like, I don't like dealing with conflict, and I'm 30. You're 14. That's the end of your fucking world.
And also, like, it has nothing to do with the daughter. It's between the mom and this girl. Like, it's not fair to put the daughter in the middle, even though she is the common denominator.
The daughter's just giving the message, you can't come over. You can't come over until you make this comment. You know.
Yeah, I would definitely, like, that would be weird if she said that, though. If she was like, you go tell this girl that she can't come over unless she, like, that's wrong.
That's really weird, and especially if you already are aware of how hard it is for your daughter to socialize.
Right.
The fact that you're putting this on her. You should be a grown-up and say, invite her over for dinner. We should all talk. The fact that she is waiting around for a 14-year-old to act like a grown-up,
I've caved.
She's going to be waiting for 18 more years.
I've
caved. Wait forever until
she
dies.
The fact that the fact that the daughter would be delivering the message is ultimately a form of adultification, because a 14-year-old isn't going to like fully understand it. It's a 14-year-old passing a message, and that already is weird. And what is the mother going to do? Call her directly. And you're right. The mother should have orchestrated this and said, come to the house, and then had the conversation. And that's it. She didn't even need to warn anybody, because she's allowed to say that. Top comment went to Queef Latifa, YTA. Did it ever occur to you the reason this girl and your daughter clicked is because they're both socially awkward? She's a 14-year-old kid. Even with the best social skills, they often put their foot foot in their mouths. Let it go. Don't ruin your daughter's friendship because your ego was hurt by one offhand comment. I think that's one of the reasons that I got frustrated and maybe did go too far, is that I don't think she has to let it go. I think 14-year-olds can be held accountable. I think they can, and they can handle apologizing.
Yes.
And you're right. I'm totally with you, Liat. I've definitely had friends who couldn't apologize, and it fucking sucks. But that's the thing. That's where it starts, is that people are so afraid of conflict.
Yes. And if you don't teach them at a young age, then they're going to grow up to be shit faces.
Because then OP's daughter 5 years from now is going to be like, I just don't want to talk to him about it. Will you go and tell my boyfriend that I'm really tired of his shit? Because growing up, she was sent to do her mother's dirty work.
Top dissenting comment, eman-D96, unpopular, but NTA. At 14, you're old enough to know when something you say is hurtful and that you should apologize for it. You aren't telling your daughter that they can't be friends, just that she needs to apologize. I don't think, I guess this is where Liat and I aren't seeing eye to eye, is that I think she knew that something awkward happened. She felt that something bad happened, but she maybe hasn't put this totally together. And given that she is 14 and it was right, isn't this daughter's first friend? How do we get to that?
Yeah, like pretty much one, like maybe not her first friend ever, but from this, it's like the first friend to like really have sleepovers and be close. And
New enough on the friend list where the parent says we're thrilled when our daughter made a new friend.
Right.
That's definitely an early
and
friend.
this is 14. This is high school.
Yeah,
This is high school.
You know, so
it's tough.
It's tough because like the top comment said, clearly like they are friends for a reason. Yes, but it doesn't mean that you can't tell people when what they say is hurtful. Like that's not like, you know, just because like whatever circumstance, you should still always be like open and communicative, and like especially with people who might lack social cues, to like be like, hey, I know you don't understand this maybe, but like let me help you understand that like this is not something you say to people. Because otherwise, if this is someone who like has trouble like socializing, if they think they can say stuff like that, they're gonna have such a hard time making friends.
Yeah, and I think so. And I also think that, you know, and I am going to gender it up here. I think, you know, you pointed out that I am short. I'm a little short.
I did not point that out.
You did it.
You're sitting down.
You're right. That's fair. But
You started it.
I don't even think it is the same. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
think I believe that when you call a woman ugly because of the patriarchy, because it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. Calling a man ugly, it's like, it's obviously not nice. It's mean-spirited, but it's not the same, because there is a whole connection, an association in our culture with women and beauty.
Yes, because ugly men can still have hot girlfriends.
Ugly men still have value in society,
Exactly.
whereas
Yes.
like women are only valued for their appearance and their bodies and their sexuality. So then
Yes.
when those things are not appeasing or even like accessible, you know what I mean? That's when people start turning.
But also, if we're talking gender, let's consider if the tables were turned and she said, your wife is such a good cook, that must be why you, dad, are bigger.
I think the dad would have been like, that's why.
Ha
Yep.
ha ha.
It
Yep,
wouldn't have
I
been-
always get seconds.
Right.
And it
Because
doesn't-
it's like you can be a bigger guy
Exactly.
and still be cool and still be wanted and like valuable, you know? But like women are taught to hate their bodies. So like,
There's a reason women have eating disorders disproportionately.
yes, exactly.
So I think we have found an answer here. OP is 37 years old. AITA for banishing my teenage daughter's friend from our house because she made fun of my weight. I think for missing the mark on calling this an insult and essentially adultifying her, as Lily put very well, which is that she was just, you know, why am I still waiting for an apology from her? And that is a ridiculous expectation. And also, I will say, as the parent, she had to be the bigger person here. I regretted that I was going to say that. I'm happy I couldn't figure out a different phrase to say it.
You're allowed to say the
thank
word
you.
bigger in front of me.
I just couldn't figure out to have the moral high ground in terms of she's got to facilitate the friendship for her daughter as well. So she does need to put her feelings away. And I think she absolutely can ask for an apology, but that she had to facilitate and orchestrate this interaction for these two pretty young girls.
Thank you. That's exact.
Wait, so what's your
Yes.
final answer?
My answer is that she is an asshole, because the way she's acting is not to me parental. It's a little bit too hurt and wounded. And if it was like her husband's asshole friend who said, I'd say banish the fuck out of that guy. But the reality is that this person needed, you said it, they needed a a teaching moment. This was a moment to teach and learn.
This reminds me of a time when I was a child. I grew up in a very Jewish town. I am Jewish. And my parents are both...
Thank God, because it would be uncomfortable otherwise. Right? It's very Jewish.
So many Jews. Ugh, no. I'm as Jewish as it gets, baby. I have brown hair. That's not real. Because people are always like, you don't look Jewish. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? My parents are both immigrants. They both have strong accents. We had a military base in our town. So there were a lot of military kids. And they were all like Christian Catholic. And they like mostly did not know any Jews. And whatever, I had this friend, she came over one time, and I remember this very clearly, and I must have been like 9 or 10, and her mom was coming to pick her up, and my mom was on the phone with her giving instructions, and all of a sudden my mom hands me the phone, and she says to me in Hebrew, so that the friend doesn't hear, she was like, the mom says she can't understand my accent, and wants you to talk instead. And she never like brought it up again, and I don't think it bothered her, because like my mom has been in, like my mom speaks 3 languages. Like it's valid that her, like she has like a confusing accent sometimes. But like, first of all, at this age, I didn't even know my mom had an accent. So I was like, what? But thinking back, I'm like, I really wish she actually said something to that mom or to the girl to be like, hey, like that's kind of ignorant. Like maybe you should just listen harder. Cause like she doesn't have that strong of an accent. Like you can understand her. She's been in this country since she was like 13. Like, you know, so like while I understand like why my mom didn't say anything, it also could have been a really great learning moment for like them, and also for me to not like feel shame over my parents being immigrants. Cause after that I was always like, oh, that's like so embarrassing. Like no one understands my parents when they speak. And like, that was when I first understood that they had accents in the first place.
Yeah.
So like taking the opportunity to educate your children, educate your children's friends is like really important. Cause like, yes, it's, you can brush it off and be like, they're just kids, but like, that's how you like educate people, is just by like telling them, you know?
They're definitely not going to learn when they're adults.
Exactly. It's too late at that point.
100%. She had every reason to slow down. And I think like in your situation, be patient and understanding. And honestly, to not, and I think that's why, and I think maybe that's why we didn't align, Liat. So that's my bad, and I apologize for getting worked up. Is that
no, I love getting worked up.
It was an insult, and
it was. Thank you.
It was an insult, but I don't think it had malice, and that's what I was trying to express. But doing poorly. Because I think that when you're 14, you don't really know how powerful words can be, or how like even a reference to something can be an insult. You know, in this case, obviously a grown person knows that. And I think what the mom needed to do was, like in your story, show patience and charity and assume the best about the little girl, that she wasn't trying to be a bitch or something horrible, that she was just a little girl in an awkward situation, probably one of the first times she'd ever been in that situation at a new parent's house. You know, like all the other parents she'd probably seen have been on TV besides her own. Relatively few, you know, over time.
It's complicated because I still think I can't make a definitive answer without knowing the girl, because if she is socially awkward, and if she did say it in an awkward way, then I don't blame her. But if she isn't awkward, and if she's like a cool, like, when I think of 14-year-old girls, like I think of absolute bitches, like, oh my God, horrible experience in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you would know better than me. Yeah.
That's why I'm leaning towards like she was saying it in a bitchy way. And I personally think that the mom is not the asshole. And I also think though that it's like going to be hard for anyone who's not bigger to empathize with that though. And like, which is why I don't blame you for not thinking, or for thinking that the mom is the asshole, because like, you just don't know what it's like to be the biggest person in the room and for someone to point it out. Like, it's shitty. And that kid should have known better. She's 14. Like, I was doing shit when I was 14. Like, I was kissing boys. Like, you're old enough. Like, you know. You're in high school.
Fair enough. I mean, we can kind of call it where are you, Lily?
I am at a no assholes here simply because I feel like because I see where you're coming from 100%. And I was erring on the side of caution in terms of like, well, if the daughter's awkward, this girl must be too.
Which is plausible.
So I know what you mean in terms of like, you'd need to meet this girl. You'd need to hear how this phrase came out of this girl's mouth. And because I can't vilify mom for being hurt. I can't I can not even vilify. I can go, what are you kidding me about, like, TikTok, I'm waiting on an apology from a child. Like, I ding her for that 100%. But she was hurt, and what you just expressed, like, and not only was she pointed out that she was the biggest person in the room in her house. Like, that kind of sucks.
That's
that really
your safe
sucks.
space.
Like, it's your own house. It's like, it's not, it wasn't a party, but like, it was your event. You know what I'm saying? And someone went and pointed that out, even if there was no malice behind the statement. So that's why I would hope for a learning moment conflict resolution, but I feel like it's no assholes here.
Yeah, I would like to change my my answer to no assholes here because, no, never mind. The girl's a bitch still. No assholes, just bitches.
Well, I was going to say, I actually think Liat and I are closer to our answers then, because if the girl did say this with malice, so she knew what she was doing and she really was taking a shot at mom for whatever reason, then I would say that it's everyone sucks here.
Yeah,
I hate calling children assholes, but yes, I
kids can
can
be
come
assholes.
around on the paradox.
I mean, if she's taking a random shot at someone and she knew what she was doing, I mean,
Exactly.
you know,
If
then she's an asshole.
If it was a pointed, like, wow, it must be why you're so big because the food's amazing, then yeah,
Exactly.
totally, I'll go ESH.
we just don't know. That's
I'll
the
do
problem.
it. I'll go there.
All right.
I'll call a kid an asshole.
AITA for banishing my teenage daughter's friend from her house because she made fun of my weight. Well, we got a few different answers based on different conditions, but that was a fun one. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here on a veritable juice fest. Here we go. AITA for refusing my sister's offer to be in her bridal party and not giving an explanation. I, 26M, fell in love with my sister's male partner. This began around a year ago when my sister had to travel for work for an extended period of time, and her partner got into a bad car accident. A week after she left, the male partner needed someone staying with and helping him for a while. I work from home, so they asked me if I could go and stay in their home for a while as their partner's temporary caregiver while he recovered. Her partner and I were already good friends prior to the situation, but living with someone and being there in some of their most intimate moments obviously strengthens a relationship. We bonded over our many shared interests and got to talk about deeper things that were typically off limits in a group setting. By the time I realized my changing feelings, it was too late to distance myself. I had committed to helping him for the duration of his recovery, and a sudden change in my behavior would just tip him off that something was wrong and add unnecessary stress to an already hard time. He'd expressed feeling like a burden more than once, so I pulled away a little. The period that followed was full of guilt from me and confusion from my sister's partner by my quick disappearance. He eventually texted me and asked if he had done something wrong during our time together, so I came clean. The conversation was brutal, and it ended in both of us agreeing that we would limit our time together from now on, as there was no hope for an actual future for us given the history. The two of them got engaged somewhat recently, and this past Saturday, my sister asked me to be in her wedding as part of her bridal party. I asked her to let me think about it, which caused some tension, and told her yesterday that I was grateful for her offer, but I had to turn it down. I'm fine attending as a guest, but being in the party just feels too much. She's now furious with me and is demanding I give her an explanation, at the very least, something I've refused. AITA.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Isn't it wild?
That is so gross. Get a hold of yourself, queen. Like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with her? That's so cringe.
Who's her? OP?
Oh, sorry. Who's
OP's
OP?
a dude.
Wait, who's OP? What?
The writer
guy,
of the post is a guy
Oh, I missed
who
that.
fell for a guy
Wait.
who's getting married to the guy's sister.
Oh, it's the brother?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I missed that. Yeah, he needs to get a hold of himself. Everything I said still stays true, but he really cringed. That's your sister's husband. Like, you know, you can have feelings for him, like, in your own, like, secret mind. But, like, don't tell people. That's so weird. It's not okay.
That's where it sort of landed for me, too. It's like, I get you cannot control who you have feelings for.
Yeah.
However, you have full control over who you tell that information out of your mouth to.
Yeah, and to be like, I won't be in your wedding party because I'm in love with your husband, like, too bad. Like, ew.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to opine on this because there's just a game-changing edit. So let's just get into it.
What does that mean?
The person who wrote this went back and changed it. And they wrote, he did reciprocate my feelings.
Okay.
We decided it was best kept between us, and he never told her anything about it to my knowledge. They didn't have a traditional proposal, and my sister is the one who initiated the conversations. In response to inquiries about the status of their relationship now, he told me that he respects my sister and doesn't want to end the relationship abruptly with no real reason he can disclose. He has had relationships with men in the past, and she knows this. He and I text occasionally, but not often at all.
I feel like that's even reason enough. You have feelings for someone else?
Yeah, I think now this changes. Okay, still weird to be in love with your sister's partner. It's just wrong. But the husband is also fucked up, and he should tell his wife that he's in love with her brother. That's like... Or honestly, though, as the sibling, like, I would tell my sister... be like, listen, like, I love you, and like, I also am in love with your husband, by the way, but like, you should know that he's also in love with me, and like, I don't know where that puts things for any of us, but like, you deserve to know that.
I feel
feel like
so.
that's
I'm with you there.
Right?
You might as well just let it out.
Yeah, at this point.
But isn't that, it's one thing to say, I don't know, I feel like that would be dropping a nuke.
I'm all for telling people when they're being cheated on. Personally.
Well, no, I believe in that, but I would, if I were in this situation, I think I would come clean to the sister, but I don't think I'd come clean to her fiance, and I don't think I would be like, and he loves me. Like, I don't think I would do that. I think I would speak my piece to my family member, because otherwise you run the risk of like seemingly narrative painting.
That is true. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's a real toughie. I mean, I guess I'll say this. I do think you can fall for someone and it can mean nothing. I think that's true.
Like a meaningless crush?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It can feel like love, especially if you're constantly involved with someone like this was, right? Because he was caring for him.
What's that, like, psychological term?
Like Florence Nightingale syndrome or something?
No, when you fall in love with your captor. What is that?
Oh, that's Stockholm syndrome.
Thank you. It's giving Stockholm syndrome.
What?
Like, of course, the one he's taking care of falls in love with him. You know? Of course, the other person is falling in love with OP because OP is, like... controlling their life.
He's there. Yeah, no, I mean that actually I don't think I would go the Stockholm syndrome route quite that hard, but yes, you're right that this was
that's the first thing that came to mind when I heard the story.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't think it was kidnapping per se, but this had to do with the situation. I think that's actually a good read.
Right? Yeah.
It wasn't
not kidnapping, but it plays a part.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it's like the caretaker aspect.
Yes.
It's like it's not Stockholm syndrome, but there is something else out there.
Liat went crazy with that one.
You start having more intimate feelings towards someone who's caring for you in this capacity, and they're sleeping in the same house.
Yes.
They're talking about a lot of stuff. Like OP mentioned that they have started talking about subjects in which it was off limits in a group setting, and now they're really actually getting to know one another on a one-on-one level for the first time. Mm-hmm. New feelings are gonna arise, romantic or not, you know what I mean? And
I gotta say, I feel like the first responsibility, I feel like, you know, bisexual, heterosexual, it doesn't really matter. I do think you have an obligation to report to your partner if you start to have a crush on someone.
Yes.
And in a situation like this, right? You don't need to, you don't need to say it if it's just going to ruin their day. You have to take the action yourself and be like, you know, I once developed eyes for a coworker, and like I had a stupid little crush. It was for like 2 days. And, you know, I just like stopped kind of communicating with her. I didn't do anything mean or anything. I just kind of avoided her. That was it. And it went away. It was nothing. But he can't do that, right? Because he's in the bed, right? And that's the Stockholm syndrome of this. And what he needed to do was say, hey, babe, look, your brother is like here a lot. And like, he could even lie. I'm comfortable with that. If he said, I want someone else to take care of me. I don't feel comfortable with him here. Really, that's it. I don't feel comfortable with him here.
I just don't like the fact that he's like, I really respect your sister, and there's no real reason for us to just break up out of nowhere, so I'm not going to do it. You have a crush on someone else. You should at least bring it up to her, communicate it to her.
I think I'm actually disagreeing with this, because it kind of sounds like his crush is not that serious. It sounds like he still loves this woman and still wants to marry her.
I think that's where we're gonna get, because I'm not sure either. I think where Lily and I are stuck on is in the edit, the way that OP characterizes this is that he told me that he respects my sister and doesn't want to end the relationship abruptly with no real reason he can disclose. So I think the way we're reading that is, first of all, why does he say respects? Not that you respect her, bro. It's that you love her. Do you love her or do you not love her?
It's like, it sounds like a business arrangement.
Exactly.
It kind of sounds like he's gay and like fully gay.
I honestly think so too.
And
I don't know, because I don't know these people, but that's
it's hard.
seemingly
These things are hard. We
like,
meet them on the podcast. I need to meet these people.
because I am bisexual. Bisexual people do exist.
Yes.
But it's just the language.
I don't
that
need
the
him to be.
fiancé
He doesn't
is
need to
using.
be gay. He could simply not be in love with her. Nothing about what he is saying is
Loving.
Is loving.
Yeah.
He respects her, and that he doesn't want to end the relationship abruptly with no reason.
It literally sounds like a business partnership in which like one partner messed up, and he's like, we've been business partners 7 years. I really respect him, and it's just one little thing, and it's not going to tank the business.
But it could also
I don't want to break
mean
up.
that he like feels like the crush isn't that serious, and he's like, it's really not that big of like, it could be his like gentle way of saying like, listen, yeah, like I had a crush on you for a minute, but like it's not enough to like end this relationship, like, you know.
But
maybe that's his way of gently saying it to
But
the
they
brother.
like stopped communicating. Like they said, like it was like OP described the conversation as brutal, so like that could lead into a little bit of what you're saying, but it was feelings enough that they felt the need to like not completely cut off, not like blocking each other on communication, but like completely reducing it quite a bit.
Yeah, but that could mean that either the conversation that the conversation was like, you know, like, oh my God, I love you so much. Oh my God, I love you so much too, but we can never be together, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But it also could have been like,
oh, this is awkward.
yes, like,
Okay.
yes, I like, you know, am attracted to you too, but it's not like that deep. And like, you know, it could be that OP was like giving, and the other guy was like, yeah, I am into you, but like, I'm not like in love with you like I am with your
I think
sister.
that's not a bad read. I think I don't know if we're gonna really know based on this, but that OP is potentially in love with the guy, and maybe the guy is like whatever kind of crushing, but he's trying to paint a picture where it's an even match, and that's not necessarily the case. I'm definitely with that.
I'd be willing to go that OP is picture painting a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm willing to concede.
Love will do
know.
that to you. I've done it. Top comment, I am spellbound, writes, YTA for having an emotional affair with your sister's fiance for sure. Was it just emotional, though? You already admitted the feelings were reciprocated. Why stop now? Your poor sister deserves better than this. Grow a pair and tell her the truth. Don't let her marry someone who doesn't love her back.
yes.
So, I don't know. It's tough to read. I don't know what it is. Top descending comment, awkward fact 350. NTA, this is difficult. I feel for you. This internet stranger is proud of you. You recognize what was happening, took all the appropriate steps to prevent it. You never inserted yourself where inappropriate and have taken every measure to not create a situation. Please speak to your sister and calmly explain your reasons. So I guess my question is, if you're OP, do you tell the sister? I think the fairest version of the truth, unless you feel like you know, and I feel like we don't, but if you don't feel like you know that he doesn't love her, right? That you say is like, look, I develop feelings for him, and I don't feel comfortable going to your wedding because I have feelings for him.
That's still fucked up though. You got to go to the wedding.
Well, he wants to go to the wedding. He said he's fine going to the wedding. It's
As a
that
guest.
as a
right.
guest.
But like,
he just
that reasonable?
you're still, I mean, it depends on their relationship also. Maybe they're not that close, but like, I'm putting myself in the situation with my sister, and like, let's say for some reason I fell in love with her like boyfriend, and like they still got married. Like, I would put my feelings aside and be a good sister and be her bridesmaid. Like, it's her wedding, you know, things ended up the way they did, and like, it sucks in my favor, OP's favor, but like, c'est la vie. You have to go. You're still part of the family. Like, what are you gonna do? Not be in the family photos? Like, that's so. And
That's
you're gonna
true.
stand on the
Yeah.
side and be like, it's just like hard because like I'm in love with the groom. Like,
yeah,
come
that's
on.
so funny talking at the open bar at the wedding. Like, I love the groom.
The groom is in love with me, so I just
Please don't drink at the wedding, OP.
Yeah.
This
Do
will
not drink at this
go
wedding.
Honestly,
well.
OP at this point, just don't go to the wedding. you're being the bitch. We should change this to am I the bitch?
Yeah, I guess I feel like if we're playing it as it lays, or the feelings were reciprocated, which here's another thing. I don't think that's very likely to, because you notice that shows up in the edit. Kind of a core detail
right?
to leave out.
Exactly.
Kind of a core detail. So that OP then edited it and it's like, oh wait, no, he actually felt the same way. And it's like, oh really? You didn't mention
No,
that?
he said it in the main post.
What?
The
What'd he say?
conversation was brutal and it ended in both of us agreeing we would limit our time together from now as there was no hope for an actual future for us given the history.
Well, that could be him saying there's no hope for us. It's not saying that they both said it.
Well, no, I was just saying given the history, meaning he's at the time dating but now engaged to his sister. That's where I took, even if we did come clean about this now, we couldn't be together because you've been with my sister.
I guess that's one read, but it also could just be like I said, it could be more that energy of like, yeah, I like you a lot too. And it's like, but I'm with your sister, and it might have been more of like, because I think it's also possible, right, that like this guy's at love and this other guy might have been at like, I'm attracted to you and I like you.
Like into him. I feel
Into
like he
him,
was
yes.
into him.
Yes.
Like totally into him. If I were single, of course, but
Yes,
I'm not.
yes.
That's how I feel.
That's different though than reciprocal for me. Reciprocal
Yes.
is equal on each side.
Which is why the edit makes it complicated, because it's an edit.
Yes.
And not in the OG post. It's defensive.
Exactly.
No, I'll concede on that because that's how I interpreted it, but I am fully open to the other interpretation.
I mean, ultimately, I am seeing eye to eye with Liat that you kind of got to suck this up. I kind of feel like OP is being selfish and they fell and it hurts to fall. And like, dude, like don't make eye contact with him and go to the wedding and suck it up. And like, I think he also hasn't fully owned the fact that this wasn't reciprocal. There was feelings on both sides, but they weren't the same feelings on both sides. I kind of feel like that's more what happened here.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is tough because the facts are a little bit murky.
Yes. Again, I want to hear all the sides.
I know this is like, well, info is a verdict, Liat, if you want to go that way. But
What does that mean?
you could just say info. There's not enough information for you to give a verdict.
No, I still think everyone's an asshole except for the sister. Feel bad for her.
Yeah.
They're both assholes.
AITA for refusing my sister's offer to be in her bridal party and not giving an explanation. I guess it depends how you do this. Sarah was always good at this. Lily, how would you break this down? Because if we say ESH, who are the parties here?
AITA for banishing? Oh, no, sorry.
I'm with
scrolled up way
Liat.
too far.
I think that's true. I think the most appropriate thing would have been for him not to meet him in the middle. I think that's one of the reasons I think that there was feelings on both sides because, let's say this happened to me. I would be like, look, man, I think that's really great that you're in love with me. I'm deeply flattered. As a 5'8" man, this doesn't happen to me so often, but man, this is a day in heaven. But yeah, I just don't really feel that way, but thanks for taking care of me, and then I would tell,
Yeah.
your brother.
Your
The brother is definitely the asshole. That's not okay. You shouldn't have even broached that because he was trying to make it happen just by broaching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He never should have brought it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't have to tell everyone you have a crush on them. You have a crush on them.
No,
Yes.
God, no.
He shouldn't
So
have brought it
weird.
up to the fiance. That was like the biggest sin of this, in my
Yes,
opinion. He
sin.
should have told it to his therapist, told it to his best friend, wrote it down in a letter, set the letter on fire, put it in a bottle, throw it in the
Yes.
Pacific Ocean. Literally post about it on Reddit.
Yeah.
And that,
Don't tell him. Like,
and that's
don't tell the
why
person.
he didn't tell the sister because he was partly culpable as well
he
because
knows
he
he's in the
played
wrong.
along. No, I'm sorry. That's why the fiance didn't tell the sister. Because if he had a clean slate, he would have just been like, yo, your brother
Has a
he
crush
loves
on me.
Exactly.
Your
Which is why
brother's
the fiance's
obsessed
an
with me.
asshole,
It's
too.
crazy.
I think they're the asshole. So that would
Yeah.
be everyone sucks here, right? Or no,
Yes.
or would we say
Except for the sister.
Because the sisters,
she's not a party?
she's not really a part of it. She's an
Yeah.
outlier. So we're omitting the sister. Like, she's not really a part of the core conflict
Yeah.
here.
AITA, no, she is.
I guess she is,
AITA
'cause
for
it's a
refusing
title.
my sister's offer to be in her bridal party and not giving an explanation. We are saying YTA, you were the biggest OP. Second on the list, pretty high up there as well, the male partner. Sister is not the asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, look at that. We
Good for
found
us.
some sweet agreement. Liat, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. This
has
is
been very fun.
Yeah.
It's been good to have you.
Jinx. It's been great to have me.
I agree.
This has been really fun, guys. Thanks for having me. I actually love like arguing about things. So this is like
perfect.
I love it.
You can come back anytime.
I would love to argue about more things.
Follow Liat on @ShyCow LUVR on Instagram. Follow
Like, shy cow lover, yeah. It sounds like you were spelling shy cows LUVR, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. And we'll put that in the description because a lot of people are confused now. And follow your dog, the model, as well. Doobie, DUBY.DOO.
Doobie doo.
Oh my god, Jinx.
Yes,
Yes,
that's good.
I don't post. He doesn't post on there often, but
He doesn't have
he
opposable
actually does
thumbs.
the posting.
he has a hard time. But we collab, and it's still worth following because he's so cute.
He is. He's such a great dog. I love when he greets me with a toy.
Oh my
He'll
god,
just come
That's
up
adorable.
and
It's
with
the
like a
cutest
little
shit ever.
donut
Gives you
or
a
a
little
little
offering.
flower, and
That's
he's like,
so
"Look
cute.
at it."
That's adorbs.
Yeah, maybe we'll bring him on the pod next time. Now that I know there's a camera, by the way, I did not know there was a camera, so I don't have
thought
any
I told
makeup
you
on,
there was
guys. Yeah, maybe you did. I didn't. But yeah, now that I know there's a camera, maybe Doobie can come next time and have his own little square.
I'm so down.
He's so beautiful.
It's a good Ask Doobie segment.
I am all about it.
It's just
I
like
love a doggy.
crickets. He's like. Also, shout out to my 2 cats, Manchita and Maluma. I love you guys. Good night.
They're big listeners. They're actually on the Patreon. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's the show. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.